An abridgment of Thomas Manton's commentary on the Epistle of James chapter 3 verse 17c. But the wisdom that comes from heaven is first of all pure, then peace-loving, considerate, submissive, full of mercy and good fruit, impartial and sincere. Having declared that the wisdom that comes from above is first pure and then peace-loving, James continues to describe the fruits of true wisdom, particularly focusing on the qualities of being considerate and easy to be entreated. These traits, far from being signs of weakness, demonstrate a deep spiritual maturity that reflects the character of Christ and the wisdom from above. True wisdom, James insists, is considerate. This wisdom is just, with moderation, as Beza renders it, and is often understood as being gentle or forbearing. The Apostle Paul echoes this sentiment in Philippians 4 verse 5, "Let your moderation be known unto all men," and in 1 Timothy 3 verse 3, where he speaks of being gentle. Such gentleness is the opposite of harshness and rigor. It involves not demanding every last right or pressing every issue to the fullest degree, which only leads to contention and conflict. A wise Christian understands that the strict application of the law or one's own rights without any measure of grace or patience can lead to unnecessary strife. This gentleness manifests in several important ways. First, the considerate Christian is moderate in his criticism of others. He does not immediately jump to harsh conclusions or judgments, but instead shows charity in interpreting the actions and intentions of others. Such a person does not apply the strictest rules in every situation, recognizing the frailty of human nature and allowing for imperfections. As the saying goes, austerity is the sign of folly. True wisdom, on the other hand, acknowledges human weakness and avoids the pitfall of legalistic severity. The wise believer is slow to accuse and quick to forgive, reflecting the forbearance of Christ who, while fully just, is merciful in his judgments. Secondly, true wisdom is moderate in holding opinions. A wise person does not press his opinions to extremes or twist the views of others into more dangerous or offensive conclusions than they intend. This approach avoids unnecessary contention. Disagreements, particularly in matters of faith, must be handled with care and a spirit of charity. A person may err in logic without erring in faith, and true wisdom seeks to gently correct rather than humiliate. To force someone's beliefs into an unintended extreme is more about discrediting an opponent than fostering mutual understanding or reconciliation. Third, true wisdom is considerate in its behavior, willing to forego personal rights for the sake of peace. In standing firm on their own rights, many people end up causing more harm to themselves than good. As Ecclesiastes 7 verse 16 advises, "Do not be overrighteous, neither be overwise." Why destroy yourself? There is wisdom in knowing when to yield, when to step back from pressing a claim, especially if it risks disrupting peace or causing unnecessary harm. David's example in Psalm 69 verse 4, "I am forced to restore what I did not steal," demonstrates a willingness to go beyond personal rights to maintain peace. Likewise, Jesus instructs us to avoid giving unnecessary offense, as he did by paying the temple tax to avoid scandal, Matthew 17 verses 25 to 27. True wisdom, therefore, is not rigid but flexible, always seeking the greater good of peace rather than personal vindication. It balances justice with mercy and considers not just what is lawful but what is wise and loving. This spirit of gentleness should not be mistaken for weakness. Rather, it reflects the strength of character and humility that is the hallmark of a Christ-like spirit. James also teaches that true wisdom is easy to be entreated, or as the NIV translates it, submissive. This does not refer to a passive or weak disposition, but to a heart that is open, pliable, and responsive to reason and righteousness. A wise person is not stubborn or unyielding, but is willing to listen, learn, and change when confronted with truth. Such readiness to yield is, in fact, a mark of humility and wisdom, as there is no greater folly than to cling obstinately to error. This spirit of being easily entreated can be seen in several aspects of life. First, a wise person is responsive to honest requests. If we expect God to be attentive to our prayers, we too must be compassionate and ready to listen to the needs of others. Proverbs 21 verse 13 warns, "Whoever shuts their ears to the cry of the poor will also cry out and not be answered." The parable of the persistent widow in Luke 18 verses 1 to 5 reminds us that even an unjust judge can be moved by persistent pleas. How much more should believers, who seek to reflect God's mercy, be open to the appeals of others? Secondly, a heart that is easy to be entreated is open to the persuasions of God's word. Ezekiel 36 verse 26 speaks of a heart of flesh, a heart that is tender and receptive to the voice of God. In contrast, the apostle speaks of wicked and evil men in 2 Thessalonians 3 verse 2, who harden their hearts against the truth. True wisdom responds to the correction and counsel of God's word, embracing it with a willing spirit. Moreover, this quality is also evident in how a person handles disputes. A wise Christian is not argumentative or stubborn, holding on to a conclusion simply for the sake of pride. Proverbs 26 verse 16 warns, "The sluggard is wiser in his own eyes than 7 men who answer discreetly." Often, pride leads people to hold fast to their initial opinions, even when they are clearly in the wrong. But true wisdom recognizes when it is time to concede, when the arguments of others have proven right, and when it is necessary to adjust one's thinking. Finally, true wisdom involves a spirit of reconciliation. It is peace-loving, not only avoiding unnecessary conflict, but also actively working to restore peace where it has been broken. "Blessed are the peacemakers," says Jesus, "for they will be called children of God." Matthew 5 verse 9. The work of reconciliation is difficult and often thankless, but it is a noble task, reflecting the heart of God, who reconciles sinners to himself. In conclusion, true wisdom, as James teaches, is considerate, gentle, and open to persuasion. It does not seek to dominate or control, but seeks peace, humility, and the well-being of others. Such wisdom reflects the very nature of God, who is patient and kind, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love. Christians are called to embody this wisdom in all aspects of life, both in how they treat others and in their responsiveness to God's truth. In this way, they reflect the wisdom from above, which is first of all pure, then peace-loving, considerate, submissive, full of mercy and good fruit, impartial and sincere. James 3 verse 17.